Long time. Started Dukes in 1978. Wow. How many, show of hands, how many people were not yet born in 1978?
You just made it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know where the time has gone. I really don't. But it really feels good when I come to events like this to have people come up and say that they were fans of the Dukes, and it really feels good when people who are hardly able to walk say that they grew up watching me. And I don't mean they have any affliction, I just mean they're old. They're old and they have some, like a bad cold. No, I love the show, and I'm sure that it will come back here soon, but they seem to keep it off the air for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years after it does its run. And then it comes back, and invariably it's the #1 show on whatever network is showing it again. And it really is amazing. Even though you can buy it on DVD, you can buy all 7 seasons on DVD. And it survived that movie, which is a testimony to the strength of Dukes of Hazzard, I think. So that's really cool. And then when I see little kids, little ones who are 7 or 8, who are brand new fans of Dukes of Hazzard, that's amazing to me. So again, that's a testimony to not only the strength of Dukes of Hazzard, but to what, I can't really say those kinds of television shows, because I really think Dukes is in a category all by itself. Almost like the Andy Griffith Show with Barney and Goober and Gomer and all those folks, and Aunt B, except the Dukes of Hazzard is an hour-long dramedy, I guess you'd call it, action-adventure dramedy. But it's not really a drama, duh. And it's not really a comedy. I mean, it's funny, but it had everything, and I don't think any show has ever had the amount of action and adventure that we had before or since, so I'm proud of that show. And proud that the 7-year-olds can still look at me and say, oh yeah, that's him, rather than, who's that old man, Mommy? Why does he look like the guy in the picture's grandfather? And then there was a show called Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I think that was a lot of fun, working with Jane Seymour and working with Joe Lando and a bunch of people on that show. I had the chance to be in the first season of that. Did a show that somebody reminded me of. I forgot, because I forget things. And they said, "Oh no, you were in the first season too." And I said, "What? Oh yeah, that's right. I did a show called Cowboy's Lullaby, one of the first 6 episodes of Dr. Quinn ever. And that was I got to sing, play my guitar, their guitar. Yeah, so that was fun. And then later I played Daniel on that show. I was the new love interest when Sully was lost in the woods somewhere. Someone is lost in the woods somewhere on a television show. It usually means there's some sort of a legal argument going on somewhere. Because nobody really is lost in the woods. Or on an island, apparently. Yeah. So that was fun. I got to be handed my badge and my .45 and hop on a horse every day when I went to work there. Loved it. It's been a terrific career. And then there's a bunch of shows that nobody really knows anything about because they didn't last very long, and a bunch of movies that I think people know about. Some that really shock me that people come up and say, "Oh, I love that movie you were in." Will Wheaton and I did a movie a long time ago called The Curse. That's the cover of it. Very original, a hand coming up out of the ground, as if Carrie hadn't done that. But it was a really interesting movie. We shot in Tellico Plains, Tennessee, and Rome, Italy. Yeah, all the outside stuff we shot in Tellico Plains, Tennessee, which is a town about the size of this room. And all the interior stuff we shot in Rome. I still don't know why. Don't know why they do what they do. Then I did a show with Paul Rodriguez called Grand Slam that was the best thing I thought I ever worked on. It lasted about 3 weeks. You never know. And I did this movie called Lake Placid 2. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody guess, somebody. So raise a hand. Where was that movie filmed? Makes sense. Where's Lake Placid?
New York.
Yes, so where was the movie filmed?
Louisiana.
Bulgaria. They had a job. They had the weirdest things in Bulgaria. They have these frogs that make all kinds of noise, and they sound kind of like chickens. Really. And they hired people for minimum wage, which was like 4 cents a day, I think, because we filmed around a lake. At least that was real. We filmed around a lake. And they were hired to just throw rocks into the water all day, like, skip rocks to shut the frogs up. Some of these things you don't know when you're watching classic cinema like Lake Placid. But we were doing the movie and we decided, you never know, my wife will say to me all the time, how could you do such a stupid movie? And I say, baby, we don't know it's stupid when we're doing it. Just like you don't know it's really good. I guarantee you, when they were making The Terminator, they were making just another movie, and they probably thought it was a stupid movie. So you never really know what kind of a movie you're working on. But after about a week in Bulgaria with the chicken frogs and the big ceramic plastic alligator that they pulled around with a bass boat, crocodile, they pulled around with a bass boat, we had a pretty good idea that this was a really stupid movie. So I got to say things that weren't in the script, like when I blew up the crocodile, what did I say? What a crock. What a crock. Serious as a heart attack, a little wink going on. And there was the people in Bulgaria don't know from Looney Tunes. So there's a couple of scenes where I get scared by a rabbit. I keep thinking it's the crocodile. Rabbit. And we're there talking, and whoa, there's the thing. So I actually got to say, if you're a Looney Tunes fan, you'll remember that myself and I believe Yosemite Sam are the only people that ever got on camera to say, I hate that rabbit. I say that in Lake Placid too, and I'm proud of that. I slipped that right by them. Hold on there, rabbit. Then there was Shark Swarm. Anybody see Shark Swarm? Shark Swarm was a movie kind of like Jaws and kind of not. It was like Jaws because there was a shark in it, and it was kind of not because it wasn't very good. But I got to work with Daryl Hannah and F. Murray Abraham and, oh shoot, can't remember the guy's name. It'll come to me in a little bit. But there are kids on field trips out in rafts getting eaten by sharks, and teachers getting eaten by sharks, and sharks attacking everybody, other sharks and things. Just a mess, and people who are trying to come in and Armand Asante, that's the guy's name. Odd bird. Odd guy. But we're there, and he's trying to build a resort, and I'm the last holdout. I'm not going to sell my land. Like the Dukes, not going to sell my land. And this movie was probably the bloodiest, goriest thing I've ever been involved with. And where do you suppose that showed up on television? What network?
Lifetime?
Sci-Fi, of course.
One word.
No.
Hallmark.
You see the commercial, and there's, oh, okay, Bobby, just go out there. I'll be right back. And the mom goes over, and she's doing, or the teacher is counting children, blah, blah. In the background, while she's counting children, the kid just like that, and she figured there's a little girl who loses something, and there's blood in the water and all that. The Hallmark Channel. The Hallmark Channel. That's where the movie showed up for 2 nights in a row. It was a miniseries. Blood and gore and guts and just But it had John Schneider, who's been on the Hallmark Channel a lot, so it must be okay. He did a thing about a soapbox derby. He came and danced at my wedding. So it's been an interesting career. And then there's Smallville. I had so much fun working on Smallville and working with Tom, and Tom had not really done anything yet.
No.
I think he did a couple of episodes of the Gilmore Girls and some modeling, some print work. You know that. And he still does that. I mean, that's still really what he's doing is Clark Kent, the commercials. You watch the promos for Smallville, and he's there with his hair blowing and doing that. You older folks, Jordache, sort of a look. Yep. But we started that show 9 years ago. They're going into their 10th season.
10th season.
Right?
Yep.
Is it the final season?
Yep.
You tell me it's the final season.
Yep.
How do you do that? How do you decide to backhoe your money tree? What makes you decide to end something that's doing so well? I don't know. What? Ratings? It's still doing okay.
The original producers left.
Tom's contract.
Yeah, want to go out on top. Yeah, that's right. That's why everybody's so good at selling their stock when it's gone, when it's on top. I thought Smallville was going to go away after I died. I really did. I did. I thought, well, 5 years is a long time, and I think they thought that too. 5 years is a long time. We're going to do something to kind of spruce up the 100th episode and all that, but 5 years is a good long while for a television show, a filmed television show. 10 years is astonishing. I mean, Dukes ran 7. MASH, I think, did it run 10 or was it 11? 11 years. Bonanza, 14, I think. And the granddaddy of all of them, Gunsmoke, I think was 20 or 21. And Hawaii Five-0 is in there somewhere with 15, 16, 17 years. But, yeah, it was a great honor to be part of the Superman legend, and I didn't want to be part of it because I heard about there was a world before Smallville Girls. There was a world when nobody knew that particular Clark Kent. For me, he is Superman. That's it. He is the only Clark Kent as far as I'm concerned. Really, I think Tom is not only the longest running one, but I think he's the best. I think he's great. Yeah, go ahead. He can hear you. He has super hearing. But I didn't think that the world really needed another Superman on television. I thought Lois and Clark had done fine. I thought the movies were fine. The Superman that I watched when I was growing up, which said, by the way, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. So I don't know about this flying thing. I really don't. Does he fly? Does he leap? Is it because of gravity or the lack thereof or what? I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. But when I read the script, the pilot script for Smallville, I was just blown away. I thought it was the best thing I'd ever read. Not just the best thing on Superman, but really one of the best scripts I'd ever read of any kind. So I wanted at that point to be Jonathan Kent, and my kids were much younger, and I felt like Jonathan Kent. Yeah, put upon by. Although Jonathan Kent didn't drive Clark around everywhere. He made him run to school. It was good. Or Chloe drove him around in that Volkswagen. But I really get to see when I come to events like this, I get to see what that relationship means to people, and it really it does my heart good as a father, as an actor, as a human being to see. I just talked to a young girl in Iraq. Her mother handed me the phone and said, "Will you talk to my daughter?" And I hate doing that because I got to say, yeah, it's really me. No, no, Smallville. No, the father. Yeah, no, I'm alive. Yeah. But this girl knew exactly who I was, and she's in Iraq right now. So I just talked to somebody in Iraq who wanted to talk to the guy who played Jonathan Kent on TV, and I think that's a great honor, a great honor, because I'm quite certain she has other things on her mind right now. So I thank you for keeping Smallville alive. Thank you for all your concern about my heart issues before I passed away, and my resurrection issues since I passed away. People keep asking me if I'm going to go back. I don't know. I would. I'd go back in a heartbeat if I had one. No, I would love to. I'd love to go back, and I have the dream scene for me to be on Smallville again would be the very last shot in Smallville. Now this is me. This is not them. I guarantee you this is not what they're going to do, because it would be what I would do if I were them. I wouldn't have killed me, okay? So that was then. But what I'd have Clark looking in a mirror and going through some great pain, trying to make some decision about whether or not it's okay to do something. And I would stay on that for a really long, an uncomfortable long time, like 20 seconds. 20 seconds in TV time is a long time. And just at the end of that, as he's looking, I'd have these two hands come up from behind him, around his neck, like that. And those hands would fasten the cape around the front of him. And then the shot would stay the same, and Jonathan would come into it like that, into the mirror, and say, "It's okay." And then I would end Smallville. Boom. Just like that. I wouldn't have him fly, but don't you think that would be cool? Because he's got to wonder. Clark Kent's got to wonder. It's got to be something, I would think, about having his dad say it's okay. Having his dad bless the next thing he's going to do with his abilities. Right? Okay. Questions, anybody, about anything at all? Except for stocks, because obviously I don't know when they're going to go down. Yes, I do. Right after I buy them. That's when they go down. Somebody? Yes, sir.
What can we look forward from you in the future?
What can you look forward from me in the future? There's a show that starts next week, I think, with Valerie Bertinelli and Betty White. Called Hot in Cleveland. I know, Hot in Cleveland. Really funny show, 4 or 5 camera sitcom kind of a show. And I am on that. I'm on the first one. I don't know if they filmed any more or not, but I'm on that and play a man of questionable integrity. Wow. There you go. That, and there's a brand new, if you're aware that I used to do music, I used to do a lot of music. Yeah. Thank you. There's a brand new song on iTunes right now called The Promise that is about, it's a wonderful song. A friend of mine who was in Collier and Company with me, I don't know if anybody saw that, but if you did, he was Tex. His name is Phil Redrow, and this song is called The Promise. It's a song about the economy. And it sounds really boring that way, but it's not. Who took the endings from the fairy tales we were told, and who took the pride and dignity out of growing old, and when did the government quit lending a helping hand, and who took the promise from the promised land? It's a really good song. So if you are an iTunesist, if you got iTunes, then please get that song, because it's a whole new record business from how it used to be way back when at MCA and CBS, and had 14 albums over the years, and it's an entirely different machine now. So if you liked John Schneider's music way back when, then look at iTunes for it, because it's good stuff. Good stuff. I think it's good stuff, or I wouldn't have done it. So there. I try not to do anything I don't like to do. Yes?
What made you be an actor?
What made me be an actor? I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I was one of those kids who went to the movies every Saturday, saw a double feature in a little town called Mount Kisco, New York. I'm not from the South. I'm as Southern as pizza. But I wanted to be up on the big screen, and I wanted to be on the stage, and started all of that when I was 8 years old, and have not really done anything else ever since. I don't believe that you can be any good at something you don't like. I know for sure you can't be any good at something you hate. And I know there's a lot of people that are making trying to make a living doing things that they hate. Praying for Friday to get here sooner. And if you're a young person, avoid that. If you're an older person and you're in that, do whatever you can to change it, because life's too short to be miserable, don't you think? So and it's obviously there's not a magic wand or anything, but I really think the power of a decision not to be unhappy can be very, very, very helpful. Make a change. Make a change now if you're not happy. Do something else. Do something you love. Do something you love on the weekends. Get a hobby. Make a scrapbook. Make clothes. I don't know. Just try to have some joy. I mean, it's hard. That's what this song is about. It's hard to have any joy in your life right now when people are trying to take away your house and your car. Or they already have. And you're riding a bus and never did that in your life and never thought you would. It's hard to find any joy in that. But it's worth looking for, right? Okay. Somebody, yes?
Do you keep in contact with anybody from your old Dukes of Hazzard cast? Or?
I do. I talked to Tom Wopat just a couple of days ago. He's doing a show, another Broadway show called Catch Me If You Can. And I don't know if the movie was first or I don't know if but anyway, it's like the movie. So he's there. Catherine lives in Sherman Oaks and is dealing with two lovely daughters and a life that has been really terrific, but recently horrifically marred by a personal tragedy. So we talk to her, we write to her, we text with her all the time. Other Dukes people I see occasionally. I see Ben Jones occasionally, and Jimmy Best, who's still doing fine. He's 80-something and still fishing and loves it. Still does that better than anybody. So yeah, I talk to those folks. We keep up with each other. We're the Dukes. We'll always be the Dukes. My best friends, really. Yes?
How do you feel about how your roles have transitioned? I think the last thing I saw you do was The Secret Life of the American Teenager.
Cool.
You like the role?
I don't know why they keep killing me. But the roles I've really enjoyed. See, before Dukes of Hazzard, from 8 to 18 years old, I did Oklahoma, and did Fiddler on the Roof, and did The Odd Couple, and Curious Savage, and Zoo Story, and all these different kinds of roles, which is what people in theater do. But as soon as Dukes of Hazzard came out, it was like there was this label put on my forehead that said, I'm a guy from the South, and I drive a car really fast, and that's all I can really do. So I'm tenacious in that after that, I kept doing different roles. Did Eddie Macon's Run, did all those things that I talked about earlier. And I've enjoyed it. I feel like I'm an actor again. I think for a while, it's hard to survive celebrity. Because celebrity puts you in a box, and it's wonderful. I mean, it keeps you employed. But there was an 8-year-old kid that wanted to play all these different roles, and nobody would let me. So I had to keep beating people over the head to allow myself the opportunity to do different things. Now I feel like there's really... Jonathan Frakes just hired me to do a show called Leverage. We just worked together a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And I play a viciously evil, nasty country guy. So I'm getting there. No, he owns a record label and he steals music and he breaks people's fingers and he likes it. And what Jonathan said, he said, you were a delicious bad guy. It's like, bad. Nip Tuck was a great opportunity. I've had a couple people on different online things be offended by that. Well, oh well. What can I do? Dirty Sexy Money was different. So I think really I'm getting the opportunity to play very, very different roles now. So hopefully this one, there's a new show that has not been picked up yet, but I'll get you next. It's called The Back Nine. It's a comedy, half-hour single-camera comedy filmed outside. Not a reality show. It's scripted. It's hysterical. I play a guy named Ronnie Barnes, who won the Masters in 1992, and myself and my caddy own a 9-hole, just crappy, trashy, little 9-hole golf course called the Needles 9 in Needles, California.
Oh boy.
And Ronnie's trying to get back on the pro circuit, but if you're a fan of golf, Ronnie Barnes makes John Daly look like a Boy Scout. My guy is a mess. And if this show works, I think it'll be the next. There was Bo, there was Jonathan, and I think there'll be Ronnie Barnes. So if you're not offended by odd things, go to YouTube and put in Schneider Barnes Spike, and there's some promos that I did myself. So the language is my fault, the content is my fault, and for that I am not sorry. Because it's funny stuff. Yes.
If you had the opportunity, or do you think there'll be another Dukes that has a reunion or TV series?
If I had the opportunity, would I do another Dukes of Hazzard reunion? Do I think there will be one? I really think they screwed that up. I think that movie was the first and last nail in the cinematic coffin of Dukes, and I think that's really too bad, because I do believe that in the world of popcorn and feature films that Dukes could have had a similar cinematic life to Star Trek. I really do. I think they could have made a new one of those every year. They could have, as they did so wisely in Star Trek, they brought in the original cast, they weaned the old audience, or the new audience, off of the old cast and really transitioned very, very well. It was well thought out. And then this last one they did was one of the best movies I've ever seen. And they paid such great reverence to the source material and the characters. That ain't what they did. They did not do any of that in the movie, and I think because of that, the audience they were going for went and they saw it, and it wasn't very good, and then they moved on. And I think that's very, very sad. If they were going to, I would be delighted. But everybody from the original show turned down the opportunity to be in that movie. All of us. So I don't think they're going to come to us. If you want to see a movie that's similar in heart and soul to Dukes, if you haven't seen the movie I made, Collier and Company, I made with my wife and my kids out of my truck and jumped cars and did all kinds of stuff, then grab that on eBay or grab it on Netflix. It's fun.
Hey! Well, I was going to let everybody know that we had a microphone here, so if you had any questions...
We do, but it doesn't work, but it is
there. You can be heard, but I just now discovered that it's not on. Do we have anybody in the sound booth?
There we go.
All right, yeah, there is...
Anybody over here have a question? It's all right. It's
yeah, I know some of you up front, he can hear you, but if you want everybody else to hear your question, you might want to start a line here at the microphone that we got set up for you guys, so it might make it easier for everybody.
Oh, wow, a line. Cool. Yes, you're not in line, but I did see your hand. This guy was what? Oh, it's you, man.
If you ever turned down a role that ended up being a big thing.
Oh.
Did I ever turn down a role that ended up being a big thing? No. No. I'm trying to think if No, I wish I could say I did. But it's not like, oh gosh, who was the original Indiana Jones? It's not like that. Tom Selleck, yeah, they wouldn't let him off to, no, that opportunity has not come my way. Son of a gun. I don't know. Why I'm not in any of the, why I wasn't in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh Fast and Furious, I have no idea. I don't know who I aggravated. Somebody. Yes, sir.
John, how does your personal spiritual beliefs influence your work?
I used to think that what you do, what your movie was what your spiritual work was about. And there were only so many films with the kind of content that I agree with that are made every year, and really many of them weren't very good. So now I am of the mind, they're very preachy and not very good. I'm now of the mind that it is as important how you do what you do as it is what it is you're doing. So when I'm on the set, I saw a wonderful, I don't know if the gentleman's in here or not, but we had a gentleman in a wheelchair that was trying to put a picture away, and he couldn't put the picture away. And this guy came up and said, "Can I help you?" And he helped him put the picture away. I saw him do that. Other people saw him do that. He did it because it was the right thing to do. So how you make a movie, how you treat people on the set, how you treat people in the town, how you treat people in a line, how you treat people right here is more what I'm about now. Because I think, well, when you see a movie, you don't really see the person. You see a character that somebody else created and brought them clothes and told them where to stand and what to say. But when you make a movie, I tell people this all the time. One of these days, I'm going to be dead. Really, not like Smallville dead, but really dead. Really, most sincerely dead. It's Wizard of Oz. And somebody's going to run into one of my children and say, "Hey, I knew your father. I met your father. I ran into your father one day." And whatever they say after that is up to me now. And I personally think that's more important than the kinds of movies that I do right now. Yes.
Hi, John.
Oh, you don't have to clap.
Did you enjoy working on Smallville as long as you did, and are you happy with where the story is going with it?
I loved working on Smallville. The only downside was that it's filmed in Vancouver, in British Columbia, so I had to commute sometimes twice a week, because I didn't want to be a better father on TV than I was at home. And sometimes, sadly, that wound up happening just because of time. I can't sit up here and lie to you. I've not watched it. I've seen some episodes online, but I really don't watch any television that much anymore. I go to movies. I've heard from people that it's very Justice League now, which I think is cool, but I don't think it's Smallville. And I think Smallville was a very unique, was centered around the town, centered around a dirt road, and centered around the early life of Clark Kent, not the metropolis life of Clark Kent. So, I don't know. From what I hear about Smallville, it might be better if it were called Metropolis. Right? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hope that didn't freak anybody out. I don't, but I can't lie. Oh, yes. Jump up there and ask a question.
Have you ever, have you ever freaked out a fan or made a fan mad by doing something out of character than what they're used to seeing you do on TV?
Have I ever freaked out a fan or made them mad by doing something that's, yes, all the time. All the time. And it used to bother me, but not so much anymore, because you do change, and you do have to do different things. We're in a very interesting world now with regard to how accessible somebody like me is and how accessible the public is for somebody like me to put stuff on YouTube and promote, put stuff on iTunes. It's like I said, it's a whole different world than the MCA and CBS world way back when. I have to ask. I ask those people. I say, look, you've got to chill. You just got to relax, because I'm an interesting guy. I mean, part of me is the guy from Dukes, part of me is the guy from Smallville, part of me is the guy from Nip Tuck, part of me is the guy that was working with Jonathan Frakes the other day. You know, so there's a lot of sides to me. So don't believe that one of them is all, just like with anybody in here, don't believe that one side of you is all that there is. Don't put me in that box, because I'm not going to fit. And if I offend you because of that, person on Facebook, person on Twitter, don't tweet me anymore. Go find somebody else to do that with. I'm not sure what that meant. Is that, have we been tweeting? Do you tweet? Yes. You're never going to make it.
I just wanted to let you know that I was really upset when they killed you instead of Lana Lane, which I can't say. I think it's harder after in Atlanta, but oh well. That was years ago, but it still upsets me. It just bothers me. Anyway, the question I have for you is, as an actor, would you want your kids to do and go down the road that you went down?
Like my son, who's on Secret Life of the American Teenager. You mean
I didn't know that. I'm
yeah. So in my children, I only have one. I have one child that's into acting, and he's. If you watch Secret Life of the American Teenager, he outlived me. He's the guy that sells homework and phony. His name is Joe on the show. He sells homework and phony IDs and licenses and stuff out of the one of the offices that he takes over in school. So yeah, I would. I'd like for my kids to follow the way I've done things, which is, like I said earlier, I love what I do. My youngest daughter is 6'1" and she plays volleyball, and she's a monster and she loves what she does. My son is 18 and he's loving doing theater and making little movies with his friends and cutting them together. And they did a Western at our house, and I was gone. They lit a fire in the backyard under the porch a couple of weeks ago.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but I had another dad. I said, I think they're going to be building a fire, and would you please watch it? So he did, and they didn't burn the house down. But then I've got a visual anthropologist as my 25-year-old daughter. And she makes documentary films. She's a documentary filmmaker, visual anthropology. Who knew? And I have a speech therapist daughter, 28. They all love what they do. I don't care what my kids do, but I want them to enjoy it. So there. So if they catch anything from me, that's what they're going to catch.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for saying that about Jonathan.
I've always felt it.
So what do you think about working on that showing Scott did your character in Johnny Knoxville, and at the end of Starsky and Hutch, they have the original Starsky and Hutch at the end of the movie. Do you ever think you'll do a sequel for that? The Dukes of Hazzard, like that?
Would we do that? The only thing they came up with for us in Dukes, they wanted Tom and Kathy and I to be sitting on a bench and have the General Lee go by and say something ridiculous like, "Cool car." But we couldn't bless that movie. We couldn't. Well, yeah, I mean, so the opportunity was there, but we didn't want to take it. Because I think there's a fine line between a cameo. I think the one in Starsky and Hutch, although that was a hysterical movie, but it wasn't Starsky and Hutch. I enjoyed what Starsky and Hutch, what David Soul and Paul Michael Glaser did in it. It wasn't pathetic. There's a fine line between a good cameo and something that's just kind of sad. And I think us being on a bench watching the car go by would have been kind of sad. So we didn't want to do that. Sir?
John, thanks for the work that you do. I wanted to know if you or anyone has done a comparison between Jesus and Superman and Joseph and Clark Kent, Jonathan Kent, and the moment when Jonathan dies, and whether Jesus may have had...
Well, that's why I died like that, by the way. No, it's not why I had a heart attack, but that's why I died. Go look at that episode again. I died with a hand on either... I had Martha on this side, and I had Clark on this side. There's a wonderful book. Do you know the name of the book that references all the biblical references with Small, or not with Smallville, but with the Superman legend and the Bible? You know that book? No? Google it, or Big Daddy, GoDaddy it. They're sponsors, right? Yeah, GoDaddy it. Is that how you say it? But it's really quite remarkable. Yeah, so I have heard that, and I think it's terrific. It's outlined in the book whose name I can't remember, but it says Superman on it. So check it out. Yeah, Superman, yeah.
This is a kind of a two-part question. At this point in your career, at this age of everything you've accomplished, is there any movie that you would like to remake of anyone, back to Birth of the Nation all the way up through Goonies, or anything?
Wow, yeah.
And you play the part, or if you could go back and do any movie in your youth, because I mean, now's not the time to be going back and doing Superman. You know.
No, I agree. Yes. Oh gosh, Kirk Douglas did it. His horse's name was Whiskey.
The villain.
No. Not the villain. Or was that Rustler's Rhapsody? No, it's a name like... It's a name like For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's a wonderful name. It's about... The book it came from was The Last Cowboy. What was that? Lonely Are the Brave. Lonely Are the Brave? No, that's not it. The Last Cowboy is a book that you gotta... It'll come to me, maybe. Just like that guy's name came to me a while ago. He plays a guy. He's on his horse named Whiskey. Carol O'Connor is driving a truckload of toilets across country. The guy is the heart and spirit and soul of the last great American cowboy. He gets into a barroom fight. He holds the door open for the lady. His word is his bond. He's, all of that sort of stuff. And he just doesn't fit in. And he winds up getting chased by the police because he's running from the police because it's what cowboys do on his horse. And the reason I mentioned Carol O'Connor is in movies those days, they would start a story and start another story and they wouldn't connect them. And sadly, at the end of it, he's just getting away from the police and he comes out onto the two-lane highway to get away, and he gets hit by the truck. And it's really a great movie. I can't believe I can't remember the name of that movie. Is it Lonely or the Brave? Okay, it is Lonely or the Brave. That doesn't sound right to me. That's not the villain. Not the villain. The other thing is, I had always thought that had Dukes of Hazzard happened, well, it couldn't happen. I was only 18 when I started. But if I were the Dukes of Hazzard guy in 1975 rather than 1978, then I would have at least had the opportunity to play the Ronnie Howard role in The Shootist. I would have loved to have worked with John Wayne. Never met John Wayne. He was in the hospital dying when we started Dukes of Hazzard in California. So that's the second one. It is Lonely Are the Brave. Just hit me.
It is.
I did remember the horse's name was Whiskey. Thank you. Now, Maurice, you got to shut me up whenever you have to shut me up, but I'm having fun. Yes.
Okay, this is probably one of the weirdest questions you've ever been asked, but who does your hair?
God does mine. This is it. It's all it ever does. It's just what it does. I have nobody anymore. Nobody. She says, "Who does your hair?" This is just kind of what it does. I wash it and I toss it back and